What's up, guys? Amplified Man. This is Amplified Q&A, my favorite video of the week where I get to answer your guys' questions. As always, you guys know the deal. Only ask the questions on Tuesday night's Smackdown review reaction video, which normally is up Wednesday morning. But that is the only video to ask your questions. I know a lot of people still like to ask on Monday Night Raw's review video or any other video. Some people still like to ask on Twitter. Only SmackDown's review video, because that is the video right before Thursday's Q&A video. So that's the video I look at for all the questions. That doesn't mean I can still get to everybody's question. Obviously, there's so many. I can only get to so many in a day. I only reserve an hour-ish for these videos, give or take a few minutes, because I'll either lose my voice or my mind and or both, and just because I have a lot of shit still to get to out there in the world. So I like to keep this video around an hour, so I can't get to everybody's question, but your best chance is to put it on the SmackDown review and reaction show video, and again, that's usually on Wednesday morning. That's the only place to ask your question, guys. So that's the deal on that. We are fastly approaching the end of summer, just a couple of days away, and we begin fall. Can't believe October is almost here. That means we are officially done with Hell in a Cell. The go-home shows for Raw and SmackDown to Hell in a Cell over. Hell in a Cell, the pay-per-view is over. And the post-Raw and post-SmackDown for Hell in a Cell is done, finished. So we are kind of back in our normal setting now, getting back to normal business at hand. That's not to say we won't be in that Halloween spirit the closer we get to Halloween, but for now, it's business as usual. As WWE has a busy season coming up, so do we, the fans, because we have to keep track of everything WWE is doing and process all of this shit. October 6th, the Super Showdown. October 28th, Evolution. November 2nd, Crown Jewel. Starrcade follows that, and then Survivor Series. This is all before December, and all within a 2-month period. Can't make that shit up. So we gotta be on our toes as well, just like WWE is. As you see on the opening thumbnail, the opening monologue slash statement slash promo that I'm about to cut has to do with the NWO, World Order, in the Shield. What if these three-man factions, these two entities, actually collided? Who would really win in a match? Are we talking about in NWO's prime, or are we talking about right now? So many questions. And this is the main focal point, the main focal point of this video, because it's not something that I just came up with. This has been a hot topic in the pro wrestling world the past several days, ever since Hulk Hogan announced that he is getting the band back together. That's right, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. Reunition of the NWO, the original three. And they're going to get together down in Hulk Hogan's shop down in Orlando. We're hearing some rumblings. They're going to do some stuff in New York City. Who knows if they ever make it to WWE. Not in any wrestling capacity, but for appearances. There's no telling how many appearances they do and how long this is for. But the NWO, the original band, the original three, Hall, Nash, Hogan, they're getting back together to do a bunch of shit together. And Hulk Hogan was recently asked, if there's a match against the Shield, who wins? And Hulk Hogan, I love this answer. This is Hulk Hogan. He'll be 65 years old or 165 years old, and he's going to give this answer. He said, we'd murder the bums. That was his answer. We'd murder the bums. I love that. This really ignited the fury in the Shield fans. The Shield fans were pissed off. How dare you say that? You can't beat the Shield. Not in your prime, not now, not ever. But what do you expect Hogan to say? He's a competitor. He's a man first, but he's a competitor. He's a pro wrestler at heart. Again, whether he's 65 or 165, you want your pro wrestlers to think they'll always be able to be the victor. I don't want to see Hulk Hogan in an interview go, oh, I would get fucking punked. I'd get beat up. I'd get destroyed. I don't want to see Hulk Hogan saying that. That's not to say we want to see him back in the ring right now, but we don't want to hear him say that he'd be easily defeated or demolished. No, we want him going out there at 165 years old and saying, I'd whoop that son of a bitch's ass. I want Stone Cold doing that. I want The Rock doing that. I want fucking Hogan doing that. If Savage was still alive and Warrior, I'd want them doing that. So, Shield fans are furious. No rebuttal that I know of from the Shield. This is all in good fun, obviously, but what came from this, what stemmed from this original comment from Hulk Hogan saying that we'd murder the bums, is that now there's all these polls going out. Who would win? Shield or the NWO? And in what facet are we talking about? Are we talking about in the NWO's prime, or are we talking about right now? It makes you think, and it makes me, you know, when there's big polls out there, it makes me want to do my own amplified poll on the channel. And you guys know how I do this. I don't do it like Twitter, where there's just two fucking options and you just click a button and there's your... No, I want you actually typing in the fucking word down below so you really are thinking about it as you fucking type it. And down below, I just want one word. Don't even explain it, guys. I know there's going to be some people that are going to try to explain their decision, but it's harder for me to calculate. But I literally want to go through every fucking Shield or NWO tally, and I want to see the final vote when this is all done. But down below in the comment section, tell me who you feel would really win in a match. Here's the rules. In a match with the NWO in their prime versus the Shield, who are right now in their prime. So this is not now. This is not the older version of the NWO. If NWO was taking on the Shield, and just say it's the year 2000, 2001 even. So this is a few years past the real good years of the NWO. Okay, I'm talking around year 2000, 2001-ish. If it's the NWO versus the Shield, who do you guys think takes the victory? Just give me one word down below. Shield or 3 letters, NWO. That's it. That's all I want down below, and I'm going to tally these motherfuckers. Probably I'll give it about 24 hours. Maybe I'll extend it to 48 hours. But if you guys never comment before, you don't have to do a full comment right now. I just would like a word, please, you know? And I'm only going to make this official if I can get at least 100 official tallies. If I can't make 100, then it's going to be thrown away anyway, guys. So let's see if we can get 100 people to just put down Shield or NWO. One fucking vote, please. Not the same person voting fucking 10 times, because the other 9 will be booted off of the channel, I promise you. That will not make the comment section. But one fucking vote. Would you go for the NWO in their prime or the Shield right now in their prime? Who wins? And I really made this a focal point because of a lot of questions that I was getting. I was getting several questions asking BC. You hear about the Shield and the NWO talk and what Hogan said. Especially D-Mac, man. This is a question that D-Mac sent over on Twitter. I'm sorry, fucking YouTube. Only on the Smackdown review reaction videos. I'm no longer doing the Twitter ones. D-Mac asks, BC for Q&A, if you could book the Shield in a rivalry against the NWO, how would you do it? Who would be the heels and the faces? Would there be any titles on the line? Who would win? And what pay-per-view would it be at? That's a lot of questions there, D-Mac. Much love and respect, and hope this makes amplified Q&A. Well, guess what, D-Mac? It did. Much love and respect right back to you. So let's take this one question at a time and answer this. A rivalry against the NWO, how would I do it? It would just be a total war. If you're telling the story, you would just have a war. Remember how NWO would just show up on Nitro and just start jumping people and causing absolute anarchy and destruction? That's what you would have with the Shield and the NWO. Just picture what the NWO was doing and what the Shield was doing when they first debuted, and now you have both of them on the same show. You talk about destruction, you talk about anarchy, that is a war, and that's how you book this thing. Who would be the heels and who would be the faces? The NWO has to be the heels. As much as Roman Reigns might get booed out of the big cities, and even the smaller towns a lot of people might boo Roman Reigns. He's with Seth, he's with Dean, and it's against the NWO. The Shield has to be portrayed as the faces here. NWO as the heels. And as far as would there be any titles on the line? 0. Titles are only going to hinder this feud, this story, this war. We don't need anything on the line here. This is just a war. This is just a battle for supremacy. This is a battle to see who is the most dynamite and dynamic 3-man faction to ever grace the squared circle and beyond. So no titles at all. What pay-per-view would it be at? A pay-per-view aptly named Battleground or War Games. It's got to be an event like that, right? Could even be at a Hell in a Cell, I guess. You would trap these men in a cell. That'd be pretty fucking cool. But that's what I mean about war games. Kind of along the same lines. Maybe even more diabolical. But I like just a simple pay-per-view like Battleground. We don't even need cages. I would definitely make this no DQ though. Maybe no holds barred. Falls count anywhere. You could have a lot of fun with this. And as far as who I have win, this is the big thing, right? The moment of truth. The first tally, right? Before anybody comments below, or maybe by now a lot of you guys already did comment because you already have a good case within yourself to present. A good case of why you feel one entity is better than the other, so you're already jotted your answer down. Well, now here's mine. Who I have winning this thing, again, the rule is this is in NWO's prime. It's not now. I have NWO winning this if it is in their prime. If NWO was to show up now at their age, Scott Hall has a pacemaker, Kevin Nash has bad knees, Hulk Hogan can barely walk, even if he's not fucking wrestling. So obviously the Shield takes it now. But if this is the prime, and that's the question I'm asking you guys, if this is the prime of NWO, and the Shield is in their prime, and they collided, who wins? I say the NWO. They were just the fucking badass heavyweights, each one of them. They outweighed and they outheighted the Shield. By a large amount, I feel too, guys. Listen to these stats. This is for the NWO. Nash. 6'10" is what he's billed at 295 pounds. 6'10", 295 for Nash. Hall, 6'7", 287 pounds. Hogan, 6'7", 302 pounds. Over on the Shield, Roman Reigns is 6'3", 265 pounds. Seth Rollins is only 6'1", 217 pounds. And Dean Ambrose is being billed at 6'4", which I call bullshit. Because if you look at any photo with Rollins and Ambrose only has about an inch. I'm giving Ambrose 6'2", and I'm saying right now, I'm calling bullshit, and I'm saying he's grossly overestimated at his height. 6'2" tops for Dean Ambrose. Don't believe me? Look at an image of him and Seth together. You're telling me Seth Rollins is only 6'1" build, and Dean Ambrose is 6'4"? I'm calling bullshit. But even if you gave Ambrose 6'4", he's still grossly outnumbered in the height category. Nash 6'10", Hall and Hogan 6'7". And again, the weight. The most that the Shield has, their highest weigher is Roman Reigns at 265. That's nowhere near Hogan's 302 and Nash is near 300. So height, weight, when you're talking heavyweights and going in there and doing something that Nash, Hall, and Hulk Hogan perfected, and that is the heavyweight fucking scene and captivating motherfuckers. Each one of them could have been the main eventer every single night. And then you flip it over to Roman, Seth, Ambrose. They're not those super heavyweights. Now, wrestling has changed. If you look at just wrestling and that component, the wrestling business has changed, and I will be the first to admit that the wrestlers today, the majority are better wrestlers than wrestlers of yesterday. I can admit that, and I'm an 80s, 90s kind of kid. When it comes to wrestling, that's my era, 80s, 90s. But today's wrestlers far surpass those wrestlers, the majority. Not the Randy Savages, not the Tito Santanas, not the Mr. Perfects, obviously, but the majority. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Yokozuna, those former champions, they're not the best athletes, let's be honest, right? They weren't the best fucking pro wrestlers, but they were the best heavyweights. With the Shield, you can barely, aside from Roman, you can barely put them in the heavyweight category. Seth Rollins just makes it to me, and Dean Ambrose. But Dean Ambrose has never really been a mainstay on the main event scene at all, ever. Maybe one or two main events, I can't even really think of any. So as far as height, weight, and status, the NWO crushes the Shield. And when you look at the wrestling, I can't say that Roman Reigns is drastically better than Nash and Hogan. Not drastically anyway. More athletic, yes, but he doesn't do moves that far outweigh Nash's power moves. Or the big boot, leg drop, turnbuckle clothesline. If you look at Roman, he's got the Superman punch, a spear. Again, he does things like the drive-by, so there's a little bit more athleticism, but nothing that's drastically over the top that I would say, yeah, he would easily take Hogan and Nash. No. So then you go to Scott Hall. Scott Hall was a better wrestler, I feel, than Roman Reigns. I don't feel that Roman Reigns is that much better than Kevin Nash. Again, they're both power move guys. Roman just wins in the athleticism category. So Roman Reigns is just towing the line to be a better wrestler than Hogan, Nash, and Hall. Seth Rollins, clearly just a better wrestler than all three, Hogan, Nash, and Hall. And Dean Ambrose, better wrestler than Nash and Hogan. I'm on the fence with Scott Hall. Scott Hall doesn't get a lot of credit when it comes to actual wrestling because he was just a heavyweight and people just remember him for his razor's edge and his back body drop suplex that he used to do. The fucking fireman suplex, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So many names for it. But no, he could fucking wrestle. He could grapple with you too. If you look at Dean Ambrose's arsenal, sure, he does a suicide dive. He does his little thing where he goes back onto the ropes and then he slingshots himself back to a nice lariat clothesline. But nothing over the top that would make me say Dean Ambrose is drastically better than Scott Hall. No. So I would say athleticism, the Shield wins. Wrestling, actual wrestling, the Shield maybe barely wins. But barely for me. It's on the line, man. Because again, Roman's their leader. And he's just a power moves guy. Dean Ambrose matches up with Scott Hall. Seth Rollins is the only clear-cut victor when it comes to the actual wrestling. And then when it comes to height, weight, and status, and actual heavyweight, and who's been there, done that, the NWO. So, that's just a little bit of diving further into it. That's just a little bit of over-analyzing it. Some people might look at it differently. But all I know is that Hulk Hogan, think of these names, Hulk Hogan, Diesel, Big Daddy Cool, Kevin Nash, Razor Ramon, okay, Scott Hall, think of those names, how big they were in this business, and for so many reasons, and rightfully so, they were so big in this business. Before the NWO even formed, on their own, they were huge in this business. And if you do your research as to why, it was because they're that damn good. Now, did they know how to politic backstage? You're damn right they did, but don't think Roman Reigns isn't doing that already. He's already doing interviews where he's talking about how he's the man in the locker room now. He's got the keys to the kingdom. Remember that comment? You think Roman's not politicking? Don't know too much about Seth and Dean as far as politicking, but we know Roman already is. But they back their shit up in the ring. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just giving you guys my thoughts. It's a fucking hour-ish video, so we gotta analyze something in the opening monologue. It's this. Again, I urge you guys, and whoever you vote, don't try to give a description as to why you picked it, because I can't read it. I'm only going to literally be looking at Shield or NWO. Just put that one word, Shield, or those three letters, NWO. I need to tally that up, and we're going to do an amplified poll, the old-fashioned style. By typing that shit out, yours truly is going to go through every fucking vote, and I'm going to see what my amplified motherfuckers pick. Shield or NWO. Who are my amplified unit members? Who are they going for? The majority. I want to get a gauge of what you guys think. In their prime, the NWO versus the Shield. There's no right or wrong. This is just a badass war. I got my money on the NWO. I just do, man. And either way, the real winners here are the fans. If that was to happen back in the day and the Shield was around back in the day, that would have just been fucking epic. Us, the fans, we would have won huge. I still want to see a little storyline down the road where the NWO shows up. They get into the faces of the Shield, and we get some fun fucking back and forth on the microphone and a fun little story set up. And the fucking NWO brings up the Undisputed Era or something like that. Some NXT hopefuls. And this starts a little war with the Shield. I think that would be fucking awesome. And the NWO is basically passing the torch to people like the Undisputed Era, or maybe you get 3 other sons of bitches from down there in NXT, and the torch is passed down to them, and they are like the new, not new NWO, because there'll never be another, and I don't know if I want to see another NWO, but the torch is passed to the next 3-man entity that the NWO feels can take out the Shield and beyond. I think that would be a cool storyline. But my money's on the Shield, so D-Mac, thank you for those several fucking questions, but they did all coincide with the main theme of this video, and that is NWO versus the Shield. So that's how I would do it. It would be a war. There'd be no titles on the line. You would do this at like a battleground or a war games. This would just be for supremacy and dominance. And in the end, I got the new world order coming out as victors. That would definitely be badass. But that's just the opening monologue. That's the opening question that I wanted to answer because it is a hot topic right now in the pro wrestling world. Hulk Hogan fired the first shots. We'd murder the bums. Now, again, it can't happen today. Hall's got a pacemaker. Nash has bad knees, and Hogan can barely walk. So as much as us wrestling fans, we love nostalgia, and even if fucking nobody can fucking walk, I'd still want the NWO in there with the Shield if we could get it. I'm still going to say NWO in their prime would take the victory. But we will not be seeing that. Some wrestling fans are actually thinking maybe we'll get to see that in the future. Guys, I'm telling you, the NWO can no longer go. Not to the Shield status. When you think Rollins, Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, ain't no fucking way the NWO today can beat them. But back in their prime, not so fucking sure. Let's get on with the rest of the questions, guys. We got a lot of time left. I'm going to answer a shitload of questions, and I'm going to start right now. Alright, so let's start off with Christina. Hey BC, hope you and 2.0 are having an amazing day. I know I am. Can't say the same for 2.0, that's another story. For Q&A, this is not really a question, but just my thought of something. I really hope you read this. Well, I am, Christina. You said in your last Raw review that, and I quote, "What's even sadder is that I think they accepted it." And that's when I was talking about Sasha and Bayley in their roles right now and where they're at in the company. That I believe that they've accepted it. I believe my exact words as well was they phoned it in, which means they're done. They've accepted it, and now they're just fucking getting a paycheck and being best friends touring the world. Hey, sounds pretty good. With all due respect... Oh, I'm sorry, what was it? Oh, with all the respect that I have for you, well, thank you, Christina, I do disagree. I mean, as far as Bayley loving it and being okay with it, yes, because that is the best they'll have for Bayley. But Sasha, 100% no. You should see her Instagram and her tweets, her Instagram stories and her tweets that she puts out. You can feel her frustrations. I feel like she is just doing her job and being so patient with WWE. And when that patience runs out, trust me, she will leave WWE. Well, Christina, I respect the fact that you respectfully disagree with me, but now I respectfully disagree with you to the point of my original comment that I feel they've phoned it in, that they have just accepted it. Because here's the thing, Christina. You asked me to see her tweets in her Instagram, right? I have a lot of people that send those to me. I've seen a shitload of her tweets in her Instagram stories, even recently, and guess what? It's of her and Bayley hugging nonstop. It is a love fest. Now, yes, sprinkled here and there are cryptic messages that Sasha always leaves, but then, sprinkled within all of that, is just them hugging all over each other. If that's not accepting it and embracing the fucking role that they have, I don't know what is. I doubt very much Vince McMahon is telling them, go on social media and be all over each other. I doubt that very much. They're literally, one of her last posts is her and Bayley just in the middle of the ring, just like embraced in some type of love fest. It is fucking weird. That's not pro wrestling when you're fucking that good and your original character was a badass, the boss, and now you're just fucking every post you put out and every time we see you on TV is just a hug love fest. That's not a boss. That's not badass. That's just a bitch of Bayley. It's the truth. So I respect the way you look at it, Christina, and that's fine. That's the way you look at it. But disagreeing with me isn't going to help the fact that it's the truth. Sasha's going along for the ride. I'm not saying she's 100% happy with it. No, nor should she be. She probably absolutely wants to be further along, but there's no doubt that she's loving being a unit with her fucking little best friend, touring the world, getting a paycheck. I think she's causing a lot of the problems backstage herself. She must be at this point. There's no way you can hold her down to that point. She must have been fucking up a shitload backstage. Has to be. And I already see that she just looks up to Bayley for some reason. It's so strange to me. Bayley is half the talent of Sasha Banks, and Bayley walks around like she's the fucking, with the utmost confidence, and Bayley's the one with all the talent and skills. Sasha's the one with all the talent and skills, but she lacks all the confidence. The boss character, she holds an abundance of confidence. We need that back. But Christina, if your argument is take a look at her social media posts, I have, and it's just a love fest, mixed in with a few cryptic tweets, just to make her hardcore fan base believe that she wants so much more, and she wants to get away from Bayley. But when you show us the opposite, and you're just all over clingy to each other, what the fuck do you expect us to think? Nobody's gonna want to go onto Sasha Banks' social media and constantly see her and Bayley fucking drooling over each other. It's fucking weird. So I hope that clears that up. That doesn't change my opinion. Just by watching Sasha Banks' social media is not gonna make me change my mind. They phoned it in, man. This long Sasha Banks has been irrelevant, and you still see her this Monday just fucking all over the Bayley buddies, all over Bayley, cheerleading for Bayley. If you were that pissed off, you fucking hightail. You walk the fuck out. I have so much respect for people like Neville who said, fuck this shit. A lot more than I do with somebody like Nia. Nia Jax didn't do anything to show anyone that she deserved to walk out when she wouldn't do the job to Sasha. Nia Jax wasn't in that role or level yet. Neville, however... Right, I said level, not Neville? Yeah. Remember when Nia Jax walked out? We were pissed about that because Nia Jax, what did you do in this company to deserve your voice being heard yet? Nothing. You still have to fucking earn your way. Neville did far more than just earn his way. Neville should have been some dominant force in WWE. Sure, he didn't have the fucking height and shit, but this motherfucker was stacked, jacked, and ready to go, and he had the talent that far backed that up. So when Neville walked out, that wasn't like Nia Jax walking out. That was somebody who had a legit fucking gripe. You've held me down for so long when I'm better than 90+% of the roster, and you want me to job to Enzo every week. And Neville said, check you later. Nia Jax just didn't want to do a job for Sasha when Nia Jax didn't do shit with the company up until that point. And she's like, check you later. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Just because you're The Rock's fucking cousin? Neville had a fucking reason. Sasha would have a reason. I'm the fucking best talent you fucking have. I'll match up any day of the week with Charlotte and Ember, Naomi. I'll match up with any of them. Kyrie fucking Sane. You bring them at me. Asuka, I will fucking take them on. And you held me down in obscurity and irrelevancy for over a fucking year and a half now? I'm out. Check you later. Cody Rhodes wanted out of WWE. Unlike Nia Jax, again, deserved. Cody Rhodes was so much more than just what Vince wanted him to be in that Stardust role. Come on, man. Sasha Banks could do a million things right now. No, she's content with that payday, and she's content with being with her best friend and traveling the fucking world. And again, not hating. BC, how can you hate on that? You're with your best friend, you're traveling the world, and you're making a boatload of money. Absolutely. I hear you. I'm not hating on that. All I said on Monday, though, was they phoned it in. I honestly believe they're just accepting it now. Nobody can tell me I'm wrong on that. It's absolutely obvious that they've just accepted it. And they're okay with being however they are still backstage. They're not going to play a political game, and that's cool. That's why we love fucking Sasha. But nothing's going to fucking change if you don't change. Either you change in that locker room, or you get the fuck out. But this is not the boss. This is a shell of what she once was. Let's not kid ourselves. This is a shell of what she once was. And this is just plain sad. Nothing but love and respect, Christina. But I strongly disagree with that sentiment because I've seen her social media posts. And it is fucking nauseating. Beatrice! Beatrice, what's up? Hi, BC. This is for Q&A. Which team do you think is going to win the Mixed Match Challenge? Who are your favorite teams in Smackdown and Raw? Great review on Smackdown Live. Well said, sir. Thank you, Beatrice. Means a lot. I'm not a big fan of the Mixed Match Challenge. But I would have to say AJ Styles and Charlotte are the team to beat. I mean, they are just amazing wrestlers, and they happen to be on a fucking team. Now, one team that could compete with them is a newly formed team, and that is Braun Strowman and Ember Moon. It was originally supposed to be Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss, but Alexa Bliss, did I say Blix, like Twix? Alexa Bliss has an arm injury. Nothing too severe that we think, but she's got some numbness, so they actually took her off of house shows. We think she's going to be off the next several weeks for actual televised shows. So Alexa Bliss is out of this Mixed Match Challenge as of now. That could always change in the days to come. But Ember Moon has replaced her officially as of now, like I said, early Thursday morning. So Ember Moon and Braun Strowman, that's a fucking dynamite unit. But again, this is WWE just not making sense. Ember Moon is a face, a pretty big face for the females. Braun Strowman is your biggest heel in the company right now, and he is tagging with Face Ember. Let's blur the storylines for the casual fan and make them not have a clue what's going on. Thanks, WWE, for not making sense of anything. Unfucking real. What was the other? Oh yeah, what are my favorite teams right now on SmackDown and Raw? I don't like tag team wrestling right now, Beatrice. I gotta be honest with you. I come from a time when we had tag teams like the Hart Foundation, Demolition, Legion of Doom, the Rockers. I'll even take the Oriental Express. Nowadays, we got the fucking Revival. We got people being thrown together. I don't know, man. I like the Usos. I like the New Day, but we've seen them so much because there has been a lack of tag teams in WWE for the last 10 plus years at least, that the New Day and the Usos have just recycled through every team possible, including each other 176 times. The Bar is good, but I don't really look at them as a top team because they haven't been booked that way. Gallows and Anderson have just been a crying shame. I had high hopes for Wyatt and Hardy, and that fell flat on its face. The tag division has not interested me in over a decade, Beatrice. So I have no favorite tag teams right now. I was the B team for a few weeks, and you talk about a fall from grace. They were relevant for about a month and a half. People were really getting into it. And I think when that theme music came out, that was just the over-the-top cheesy nail in the coffin, and people are like, all right, I'm no longer down with this. But for the Mixed Match Challenge, I say AJ Styles and Charlotte, maybe Ember Moon and Braun Strowman now. Lucky 17, Amplified Q&A, ABC. I have a question about Ronda Rousey. We all agree that Ronda Rousey has shown a lot of good things in her 9-month run in WWE so far, in wrestling, storytelling, etc. But whenever I check comments on WWE posts on Instagram or Twitter, I see a lot of people criticizing and insulting her. Shitty wrestler, you don't deserve your push, you don't deserve the title, others do, overhyped rookie, just to name a few. I just want to know your opinion on this topic. Is there really a lot of people that hate Ronda, or is it just the loud minority of haters? And what is your opinion on the hate that Ronda receives? Well, Lucky 17, it's absolutely the loud minority, I assure you. Anybody with fucking common sense and a brain in their fucking skull will tell you Ronda Rousey is fucking amazing. She's obviously a pure athlete. She obviously learned this business really fucking quick and really good in the time that she has been learning it. She's believable in there, and If she's not deserving of the championship, I don't know who is. Who the fuck would be able to beat Ronda Rousey in a wrestling ring? Do you honestly think Ronda's in there just to roll around the ring and do some wrestling moves? Or has WWE and pro wrestling as a whole always been about the bigger picture? Pro wrestling is more than just the fighting in the ring, right? Or the wrestling moves. Pro wrestling is all of these moving pieces coming together. Pro wrestling has always stood on the legs of larger-than-life personalities. If you don't have superstars and larger-than-life personalities, nobody's ass is going to bring other asses into the arena to watch you. You don't believe me? Go watch a 205 live event. Those are some of the most amazing fucking wrestlers, right? They're fucking insane gymnasts to a lot of people. Flips and dives and crazy shit we've never seen before. But not a lot of asses in the seats to watch them. And don't dare give me BC, they're not marketed correctly. I'm telling you right now, they're not selling out arenas no matter how they're fucking marketed. You need larger than life superstars and individuals. For instance, they put Neville down there and Finn Balor also could be in the cruiserweight division. Why isn't he? Neville should have been not part of that either. I don't blame him for walking out. People like Neville and Finn Balor can be larger than life. Neville definitely could have been, and Finn Balor, and I'm not even high on Neville, by the way, guys. He was never one of my favorites. I'm not high on the motherfucker, but I know what he's capable of, and I know where he should have went. Not saying you throw championships on him left and right. I'm not saying he should have been in the main event left and right. But he should have gotten a lot farther than where they placed him. And Finn Balor, when he's that demon, that screams superstar to me. So there's definitely cruiserweights that could become superstars, and they're definitely being held down. But the division itself, that's never going to fill arenas. I'm sorry, nobody's going to go to an over fucking hyped glorified gymnast competition, because that's all that is. But if you have a personality to back up your fucking wrestling, and you could go on the microphone and you have a presence, that's a superstar. That's something that is fucking larger than life, and that's what this business is based on. So getting back to my original point with Ronda Rousey, she's a superstar. You don't have to like it. You can hate her all you want. She's still a superstar. She's still the most fucking deserving in the WWE because it's the most believable. I'm not going to see anybody else in there with Ronda and think they can honestly defeat Ronda. I could see some damn good wrestling matches when her and Charlotte face each other, and maybe that would be a believable person to beat Ronda. Sasha Banks and Ronda would be a fun fucking matchup. And as much as I think Sasha Banks, obviously Sasha Banks is a better wrestler than Ronda Rousey, I'm absolutely okay with Ronda defeating Sasha Banks because it's believable. You guys see where I'm coming from? Sasha Banks has long been my favorite female superstar, one of my favorite superstars in the company. And I'll admit to you guys, I'm okay with Ronda even beating my favorite. Because I have common sense. People on social media, usually you're going to see the vocal fucking minority, the hateful fucks, the trolls, the dumb fucks. Those are the ones that are going to hide behind the keyboard and talk a bunch of shit because they know they ain't got to face the motherfucker. Come on, man. It's obvious. If you have a fucking brain in your fucking skull, you know Ronda Rousey, how good she is in a short amount of time. You know where she came from. You know how, in actuality, in real life, how badass she is. And then you run down the roster of WWE females and you tell me Ronda shouldn't be champion right now. She's got to pay her dues for a couple of years. Yeah. Well, people who have a brain in their fucking skull, while people that have common sense and logic, I'll sit back and I'll watch Ronda not get a championship for a couple of years. Okay, thank you guys for teaching us how it's done in the wrestling business. Bye-bye larger than life, people. Let's get fucking Dana Brooke get in here. Alexa, can you get a 17th title reign, please? It's your chance again. Yeah, let's give it to Bayley. Stop it. Obviously. And in Lucky 17, that's why you don't spend a lot of time on social media. Trust me, I learned that from day one. Because you just have a lot of fucking dumb fucks who hide behind the keyboard and they want to troll. Stop it. Stop it! Common sense. Lucky 17, only you can prevent forest fires. What do I mean by that? When you see stupid shit, click right off of it. You know the deal. You're smarter than them. And Ronda's got the gold whether they like it or not. So who's the one needing the tear bucket at night? It's those same little fuckers behind the keyboard. They're crying themselves to sleep. And Ronda's going to bed with that championship strap. Samutsa BC for Amp Q&A. Who do you think won, Eminem or MGK? I think Eminem literally buried MGK. Figured I'd switch it up. Well, Samutsa, thanks for switching it up. Eminem clearly beat the fuck out of MGK, Machine Gun Kelly. Not literally beat him up, but literally fucked him up with his rebuttal. But we already knew that was going to happen. Again, like I said on last Thursday's Q&A, I give nothing but the utmost props and respect to Machine Gun Kelly for actually standing up and at least tussling with Eminem. Because a lot of motherfuckers back in the day and even still today will not even tussle with Eminem. Machine Gun Kelly knew he was going in this to get the shit kicked out of him, and he still brought the battle. That's mad respect. But clearly, Eminem whooped that ass. That's fucking obvious. Thanks, Samutsa. Michael! Hey, BC, 2 questions for Amp Q&A. 1, are you doing amplified booking and the good, the bad, and the ugly for the Super Showdown? And 2, do you think Vince will fuck up Velveteen Dream just like he did Sanity? Love your videos. Keep kicking that NYC ass, my brother. Thank you, Michael. I definitely will. Let me answer a question. Well, I'll do question 1 first. Fuck it. Am I doing amplified booking and the good and the bad and the ugly for Super Showdown? Absolutely. 100%. So look for amplified booking. When is that? Next Friday? And then, or whenever that is, the 5th. So maybe that's 2 weeks. And then that following Monday will definitely... No, that's Saturday maybe. That's at 4 a.m. here on the East Coast, Super Showdown. So I might have that video up by maybe 9, 10 that Saturday morning. Latest would be Sunday morning. And your second question, will Vince fuck up Velveteen Dream like he did Sanity? There's a good possibility, but I think Velveteen Dream is a smart motherfucker. I think he knows where he needs to take his character, with or without Vince McMahon's approval. Great stars find a path beyond shitty booking. Remember what I said there, guys. Great stars find a path beyond shitty booking. What I mean by that is simple. When Vince and the suits and ties give you the shitty booking, the real stars with that ultra presence and that badass spotlight on them and star power, they will find a way to succeed. You listen to Mick Foley's comedy special that aired after Hell in a Cell, and he talked about how Vince McMahon really set him up for failure, whether he was trying to or not. Put a mask on him, dress him up in brown, give him this really sad, depressing music. Who the fuck is popping for this guy? Nobody. But Mick Foley found a way to make and get Mankind over. Whether people think it was just that one fall from the top of the cage or not, it doesn't really matter. He got over when he was really set up to fail. People will find a way. Velveteen Dream just screams one of those superstars that'll find a way. A team like Sanity, they needed some help from Vince in the suits and ties. And instead, Vince in the suits and ties totally shit on them from the beginning. That's a shame. Amanda, I just want to know, BC, your thoughts on the red Hell in a Cell cage. Did you like it? To me, I didn't really like it. It was too red, and I thought it was just lights reflecting on the cage. Hell in a Cell just felt like a Monday Night Raw to me. Am I right, BC? Thank you for making these videos every day. I hope this makes Q&A. Well, it did, Amanda. And I gotta be honest with you. When I first saw it, if I didn't see a picture of it earlier in the day, because I got leaked a picture of it, so I knew it was going to be a red cage. But when I first saw it on the pay-per-view, it literally looked like just lights were reflecting on it. That's what I would have thought of as well. As far as Hell in a Cell just being like another Monday Night Raw, not for the action, Amanda. I felt Hell in a Cell was actually a good pay-per-view. Something that I would definitely pay $10 a month for the network, absolutely. I don't know if I would pay the $50, $60 if I was a casual fan on pay-per-view. I don't know if it was worth that, but it was a pay-per-view. I would say definitely better than Monday Night Raw. But then again, going outside and watching leaves fall off of a fucking tree is better entertainment for 3 hours than Monday Night Raw. Let's move on. Fresh Prince. This is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned up. I'm sorry, guys. For anybody who's remembers back in the day, there was a show called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will Smith. No? Am I just a lot older than alright, well, fucking, it was a badass show, alright? So, Fresh Prince. Hey, BC. I wonder if this is Will Smith. Will Smith, what's up, my man? Love your show. Playing, obviously. Just joking. Will Smith isn't watching. Or maybe Will Smith is watching me. Who knows? Let's spend an hour deciding if Will Smith is watching me or not. Let's just waste the fucking rest of this video, BC. Real fucking brilliant. Hey, BC, for Q&A. Again, this is from Fresh Prince, not Will Smith. We're going to come to the conclusion. Hey, BC, for Q&A, what is your opinion on EC3, and do you want to see him on the main roster? Much love and respect. Oh, boy. EC3 fans are not going to like me for this. I don't care about EC3. I don't. I don't want to see him on the main roster. What the fuck are you going to do with him? He's going to be like another fucking Bobby Lashley, with a little bit more charisma at least. But the fuck is this guy doing that I'm not already seeing on the main roster? What the fuck is this guy going to do that I'm not already... Answer me! EC3 fans! What is he going to do? Basically, he's amazing on the microphone, really. I doubt that very much. I've heard him. He's very fucking subpar, actually. So what's he doing? His wrestling? Basically, he's an amazing wrestler, man. He's gonna kill it. Really? Really? Better than AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins. I can go on and on about talent that can't really fucking get the time of day. AJ Styles can't get the actual main event. Fucking Seth Rollins is hanging on to an Intercontinental Championship. He should probably be the fucking Heavyweight Championship, the Universal Champion. Dean Ambrose comes back. He's stuck in a fucking tag team. But you're telling me EC3 is gonna come over and rock the world? Come on, guys. I never been a big fan of EC3, you know? Maybe he goes to the main roster and fucking captivates me. Who the fuck knows? But as of right now, I can give two shits about him. Noob and Co. I like that. Hey, Amp, man, here's a question for your Q&A. If Asuka is going to turn heel, which stupid star... Sorry, I misread that. Which superstar, if Asuka is going to turn heel, which superstar should she turn heel on? I'll spit this out at one point today, guys. So if Asuka is going to turn heel, which superstar should she turn heel on? My guess is either Charlotte, because she's the reason that Asuka is in this position in the first place. Maybe a team up with Becky Lynch might be a good idea for storytelling. Asuka is by far one of the most dangerous and terrifying heels back in Japan. Keep up the good work on your videos, Ant-Man. Thank you. I probably butchered that whole question. But the gist of it is, if Asuka is going to turn heel, how would I do it? I think you're right. Charlotte would make the most fucking sense, because that's where all of this started from. But I also would be okay with a secondary feud with Naomi. Because a top feud for each brand, Raw and SmackDown, WWE as a whole, for the ladies especially, a top feud does not have to be for a championship. Same thing I got pissed about with Sasha and Bayley, and everyone said they gotta throw them in a team, BC, because Ronda's gonna own the top spot for the ladies over on Raw for a good part of the future. So they have to have something for Sasha. Okay, Sasha and Bayley, where they were going with it. A great kick-ass secondary feud. You don't need to be for a title all the time. Instead, they just threw them in a fucking tag team. Same with SmackDown. You don't need to throw these ladies in a tag team, Naomi and Asuka. Let's start a badass feud. You're telling me WWE creatives can only come up with one badass lady feud at a time? Just fucking, who's the champion? Yeah, Charlotte and Becky Lynch. That's it. Everyone else, tag teams. Can't have another big feud. That's bullshit. Asuka and Naomi would be dynamite. Doesn't have to be for a championship. You just have to get creative. Brendan, Amped Q&A, much love and respect from the ATL. Thank you, Brendan. Right back at you. I have two quick questions. First, I have never heard you speak of having a patron or anything like that, where we can help support you with this channel and or other projects. An example, Tyler's Day 30. Second, what do you think of WWE bringing up Shayna Baszler to the main roster to help be the muscle for Stephanie McMahon against Ronda? I think their matches and feuds would be epic, but let me know what you think. Well, Brendan, first and foremost, as far as having a Patreon or someplace to support the channel and support Tyler's Day 30, absolutely not. I don't like taking any money in any form or capacity. Tyler's Day 30, a while back when I first started this project, Tyler's Day 30, the movie, I asked if people wanted to be a part of it. That was not because we needed money, because if I needed money to make this movie, I wouldn't be making the movie. Absolutely not. If I need money to do something, I probably shouldn't be fucking doing it in the first place. But this was a way for people to be a part of it. because when this movie finally gets made, and it will, I think in about a week or two, I want to have like an update on that too, guys. A lot of people know about Tyler's Day 30 and they want some good updates. Truth is, we've been having a lot of fucking issues, but I'll make a video at some point in the future. I hope to anyway. But come hell or high water, you can damn well bet your ass that movie is going to be made, and it's going to be badass. But back when I started that, I said anyone who wants to contribute and be a part of it, and there was cool perks, your name is going to be up there in the credits in some way, whatever amount that you actually contributed. So I felt that was really cool, and that's one of the coolest things that I've done since starting this channel. But that was it. I know a lot of people since then want to help out the film and wanted their name up in the credits and things like that, but I'm not going to do a second round. I think I had a good amount that first time, and I think that's enough names to put up in the credits, and it's going to be badass, and I can't wait to do that. But I'm not going to do another round of that. I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to have a Patreon ever, and I'm not going to do it. I just don't want to do that. I shouldn't say ever, right? I mean, fucking things could change, I guess, but I don't like just accepting or taking money for just, supporting the channel or things like that, even though I think that is so cool that so many of you guys want to do that. But no, I mean, maybe if this was a full-time job, maybe, but then again, maybe it shouldn't be a full-time job then if I'm taking money. I don't know. I just feel different about that, guys. I'm not putting any shame on other YouTubers or podcasters or anybody else that has a Patreon. That's cool. That's their own thing. For me, I don't like accepting money in any form or facet. The thing I did with Tyler's Day 30 is one of the coolest things I did, and I can't wait to put their names up in the credits. But that's the only time I'll ever, I think, do something like that, and that was pretty fucking epic. I don't want to wear that out. I don't want to keep doing shit like that. And a patron, definitely not. And it's just one of those things. I just don't, yeah. But it means so much that so many of you want to support the channel, man. I'll end it at that. It means a great deal to me. But keep your fucking money and do great things with it. If you guys really want to support the channel, in all honesty, I mean this, whenever you see an ad pop up in these videos, I try to put one, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, whatever it is. Every 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, you might see a 30-second ad, maybe a minute. Some might be longer. Apologize. But if you want to watch that, the whole entire ad, that's helping out the channel, guys. That's like tipping the channel. Because I absolutely see revenue from that. So if you want to tip the channel, don't worry about patrons or sites that you can give to the Amplified Man. No, I don't want that. I don't need that. Watch the advertisement. Spend the extra 30 seconds or minute or 2 minutes or whatever the fuck to watch the advertisement. And guess what you just did? You tipped the Amplified Man. That's your way of acknowledging and thanking the channel and myself. So that's all you really got to do if you want to do something. Just watch the whole video and watch the advertisements. Because I will see the fucking tip. I will see the revenue from that. That's the best thing I can tell you guys if you really want to support the channel. And I thank you so much for wanting to. And the second part of that question was Shayna Baszler helping out Stephanie McMahon against Ronda Rousey in a nice kick-ass storyline of feud. I agree with you. That would be badass. But I also think it would be cool if a unit got together like the Divas, right? You have Natalya and the Bellas, and they all turn on Ronda Rousey, and maybe they bring in another 1 or 2 females from Total Divas, and they're pissed. They want Rousey out of WWE, and they ganged up on her. And then Ronda Rousey brings up Shayna Baszler, and maybe the rest of the Horsewomen, and we get something for Survivor Series. And Baszler is brought up as a partner to Ronda. And then after Survivor Series, Baszler turns on Ronda, and then we start the feud. And then maybe you can hook Baszler up with Stephanie McMahon and have an entity against Ronda. But up front, at first, I would like to see Ronda and Baszler as a unit. And I know Baszler's a top heel down in NXT. But just for Survivor Series, I think she would be cheered out of the fucking... Seeing Baszler and Ronda side by side taking on the Divas, I think that would be pretty fucking epic. That was Brandon. This is Brendan. So Brandon and now Brendan. Yo, BC, love your videos. They're the highlight of my day. Thank you, Brendan. For Q&A, who do you think are the... Oh, who do you... Yeah, I read that right. Don't second guess yourself, BC. Who do you think are the top 5 female and male wrestlers on the current roster? Much love and respect. Right back to you, Brendan. For the men, I would have to say AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Andrade Cien Almas, and Cesaro. I mean, I don't see how you can argue those are not the top 5 wrestlers on the WWE roster. AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Andrade Cien Almas, and Cesaro. For the females, I would have to say Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Ember Moon, Naomi, Asuka. I mean, I would have to say those are the 5. Different styles in there, different forms of athleticism. But when you think Sasha, Charlotte, Ember Moon, Naomi, and Asuka, I just feel they're the most dominant. Again, this is on the main roster, guys. Nothing with NXT or around the world, just WWE's main roster. I think those are the 10 legit best wrestlers on the roster right now, without question. And I know I'm going to get heat from the Becky Lynch fan. Well, Becky Lynch isn't in the top 5. Look what she's doing right now. But this isn't about placement on where they are. Fuck, look at where Sasha Banks is. You think she belongs there? I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't think Becky Lynch should be where she is. But how you put Becky Lynch in? Who the fuck am I taking out? Naomi? No, you're not telling me Becky Lynch is fucking leaps and bounds better than Naomi. No. And if I bring Becky Lynch in, then why the hell am I not bringing Natalya in? Why am I not bringing Mickie James in? You just open up Pandora's box. At that point, it's just everybody deserves to be in the top 5. Everybody deserves the championship. Everybody deserves the top spot. You know, nobody wants to narrow shit down these days. Everybody wants to have everybody get a participation trophy. I'm sorry, Becky Lynch. She's just not in my top 5. Sorry, not sorry. Ain't gonna happen. Fucking A. Everybody always gets so fucking hurt when their wrestler isn't involved in the conversation. SF Jammer, hey BC, this is for Q&A. Do you know, is there any news for Smackdown 1000 going to be a special 3-hour show? In my opinion, I think Smackdown deserves it and should have one, since Smackdown 10-year anniversary, 15-year anniversary wasn't a 3-hour show. It may not be the A show flagship, but it has been successful for almost 20 years. True, but it is still the B show, and I know that hurts a lot of people. Fuck that! Raw sucks. SmackDown's the real A show. Well, that's adorable when we say that, but it's not, guys. Raw will always be the A show. I agree. Raw is much worse than SmackDown now, and it has been for quite a while. But it still will always have the main attention. It's always going to be the 3-hour show. It's always going to have the main focal point. It's always going to be where Vince's biggest storylines and biggest returning stars are going to go to. It's always going to be the flagship for WWE. The fans can call anything else a flagship, that's fine. But it's really the company that has the final say, and it's Monday Night Raw. And let's be honest, SF Jammer, the 3-hour hopeful mindset that we have for SmackDown, this is right amidst the chaotic schedule that they have with Super Showdown, Evolution, Crown Jewel, Starrcade, Survivor Series. Now you're asking for a 3-hour SmackDown. And again, that SmackDown, the 1000th episode is, I believe, October 16th. That's right after, a week and a half after Super Showdown, and it's a week and a half before Evolution. So it's wedged right between those things. So even if SmackDown 1000 gets 3 hours, don't expect it to be some epic broadcast. That's going to be like a last-minute fucking thrown-together piece of shit, I bet, card. I mean, sure, they're going to bring in some names. We'll enjoy the nostalgia, but if you saw Raw, what was that last special? Was that Raw 25? I forgot what the fuck it was. I think it was the 25th year anniversary. That was a shit show. They brought back all these epic old-time names, and they used them in the most stupidest fucking ways. Expect a lot more of that for SmackDown 1000. So even if they make that a 3rd hour, I'm telling you right now, their minds are everywhere else. That's why we're not hearing a lot about it. If you didn't have Crown Jewel, if you didn't have Super Showdown, if you didn't have things like Evolution, SmackDown 1000 would be this big thing that we're talking about right now. We're only a few weeks away. They're barely even saying anything about it. So it'd be cool if they get 3 hours, but even if they do, don't expect it to be epic. Hub City Finest. Hey BC, really hope this makes AMP Q&A because for the last 2 weeks, you haven't got to my questions. I have 3 questions. I'll get to 2 of them, Hub City, man. We're already at an hour, guys. Believe that? We're going over a fucking hour, if not already. So, I still want to get to a bunch of questions. We'll see what this might be the longest Q&A I've ever done. I'll do 2 questions, Hub City. Number 1. Have you heard that WWE is thinking about bringing back the Hardcore and European Championships? What do you think about it? Well, first of all, you don't need any more championships. We already have enough. For the men on Raw, we have a heavyweight championship, which is the Universal. We have an Intercontinental, which is for the mid-card. And we have a tag team strap. And then we have the ladies have a championship. Over on Smackdown, we have the WWE Heavyweight Championship. We have their mid-card title, the US. And then we have a tag team and a ladies. That's it. What more do you need? What do you mean a European and a Hardcore? Now, I will say this, Hub City. The Hardcore Championship was one of my favorite if it's defended the way they used to do it. And that's 24/7. I'm sure you remember it, Hub City. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember. The Hardcore Championship could be defended anywhere at any time. That made for fun television. I remember fucking, who was it? Crash Holly, was it? Where he was back there. Molly Holly was going. All these motherfuckers were going for that backstage. So while the show is going on, anything could be happening backstage. The camera would cut backstage and somebody's getting pinned back there for the Hardcore title. I used to think that was so fun. You could be eating at catering, your fucking lunch, and they'll show like video package of what happened earlier in the day and somebody got beat for the Hardcore Championship while they were eating their lunch. I used to love that shit. If they bring back those rules for the Hardcore title, then I'm all for it. Otherwise, I don't see how it works. If it's just in the ring, you can only go so far with Hardcore these days. What are you going to do? Throw out some chairs? A little kendo stick action? Redundancy, man. But do it the old school style, and I am so up for that Hardcore Championship. Question 2, Hub City. Would you like Saturday night's main event to come back? Absolutely 1,000,000%. That was my fucking childhood in a nutshell. You'd have to go to bed. I was so young, but you'd go to bed around fucking 8 or 9, and you hope to get up at 11 or 12 midnight when Smackdown, Saturday night's main event came on. You hoped to get up at that time. Because when you're that young, when you're out, you're out. You don't want to get up. You're cranky as fuck. You don't want to, even if your mom and your pops are waking up. Hey, you told us to wake you up for wrestling. No, I'm not waking up. And then you get up at 8 a.m. the next morning, and you're pissed at your parents that they didn't wake you up, and they're like, we woke you up. You didn't want to get up. Fuck. Sorry, guys. I'm reliving some stressful times back in my childhood that are resurfacing currently. I remember those times very vividly. For the most part, 99% of the time, I would actually get up. But there was that 1% where I would just not get up and I would be so pissed the next morning. For those of you that don't know, maybe you're really new to pro wrestling, WWE especially, and to this channel, that would mean. Saturday night's main event was a special event that they would put on Saturday nights. Usually it was really late, like 11 p.m. and sometimes midnight. And again, I was real young at the time, so I wasn't just partying all night through fucking 2 a.m. No, I had to go to bed and get some sleep and hope that I woke up at 11 or 12. Usually you have to kind of get your parents to wake you up. You'd have to beg them first to allow you to wake back up to watch it. But once you got them on your side, then you had to do the rest of the work, which was actually get up. I would love Saturday night's main event to come back. That's where all the fun shit used to happen, man. That's where storylines would progress for the pay-per-views. That's where you saw superstars like Zeus, Hogan, Macho Man. Man, I can go on and on, dude. That was the shit. Derek. Hey, BC, for Amplified Q&A, do you think we will get Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns triple threat at WrestleMania 35 for the Universal Championship? Much love and respect to you, my friend. Right back to you, Derek. Thank you. A triple threat for the Universal between all Shield members. If that is to happen, the only way I'm cool with that, this would have to be a huge divide and tension storyline between all three to really, truly captivate me. This can't just be the Shield members want to see who's the best. No. This has to be fucking divide and take all. They all think they are the leader. They've had enough of each other. There's tension, there's stress on their relationships, and it needs to boil over in a match to actually see who the leader, who the better one is. If there's that much tension, then yes. If it's just to see who the better one is, no. No. Like they're all friends. But Sunday, we're going to see who the better one is. Absolutely. Let the better man win. And then they shake hands and that's really the build-up? No. But if there's tension and stress and there's so much dissension within the ranks and to the point where it's boiling over and they hate each other, now they have to see who the fucking best is, then I'm cool with that. That's a cool way to find out who's the best, when there's actually fucking tension. If you put that kind of divide and tension storyline into it, I will be okay with all 3 Shield members going into one of the main events for the strap at WrestleMania 35. But that's the only way. Matthew, hey BC, everyone thinks that Dean Ambrose is going to turn heel for the next Shield breakup. Don't you think it would be better if Rollins and Ambrose kicked Roman out of the Shield? Because they all felt like all they do is protect Roman, but he never comes to help them? Well, Matthew, that would be cool, and definitely cool for Dean and Seth for a double heel turn. But we all know Vince wouldn't allow it, because he knows the fans would just cheer Dean and Seth way more than Roman. So, just like they did with Becky Lynch. Vince is catching on to what the fans are doing. If you have them kick Roman out, they look like the bad guys, they look like the double heel turners, they're going to cheer them, and Roman will continue to just get booed. Like Becky Lynch, she turns on the face, but they're cheering Becky Lynch, and Charlotte is getting the boos. So, as much as it would be cool, it would have the adverse effect, and it would be deemed pointless when it's all said and done. Umar, hey BC, for AMP Q&A, what are your thoughts on AJ Styles turning heel and goes the same route as CM Punk did when he attacked The Rock at Raw 1000? AJ then goes on against a face Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series, and the storyline continues from there. I just feel like the title reign is getting stale now and needs to add something to it, and AJ, in my opinion, was better when he was a heel. Also, what are your thoughts on a potential HBK vs. Undertaker match at WrestleMania 35? First part of that question, AJ Styles turning heel to take on a face Daniel Bryan, I am 100% behind that, because I agree with you, Omar. AJ Styles is a dynamite heel, and as good as he is as a face, he is 20 times better as a heel. And if you're set up, forget Survivor Series, Umar, you set up WrestleMania 35, AJ Styles as a heel versus face Daniel Bryan, that is a kick-ass storyline and feud, and an even better wrestling match with that type of storytelling. As far as HBK and Taker at WrestleMania 35, one more time, been there, done that. I don't need to see that anymore. No, I don't want to see that. I'm sorry, I don't. And my favorite wrestling match of all time, you guys probably know this, Shawn Michaels vs. Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. That is my favorite wrestling match. That brought out the most emotion and captivated me more than any wrestling match I've ever seen. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. I don't need to see that again. We already got to see it a year later at WrestleMania 26. We don't need to see it again. And if they're both going to do a WrestleMania match, there's other matches I want to see before another rematch between the two. Undertaker, I want to see him versus Sting. Sting said he'll come back one more match versus The Undertaker. He's okay for one more and he wants it to be The Undertaker. Do that! Pay Sting the extra money. Let's see Undertaker versus Sting. For Shawn Michaels, I want to see him versus AJ Styles. I don't care if Michaels still isn't in his prime. Michaels is still better than 90% of the roster, I bet. There's matches I want to see before another rematch between HBK and Undertaker. If they're going to come back for a match, let's have them in there with some fucking new opponents for them. Prince, ABC, this is for Q&A. 2-part question for you. How would you book Cien Almas going forward after so many losses? Would you find a way to write him off TV this soon and bring him back as a major heel? He's got lots of potential. Would love to know your thoughts. Much love and respect. Back to you, Prince. No, you don't take him off TV. You don't fucking repackage him. You just put him in the mid-card for now. Let him start beating people. Showcase his talents. Showcase to the world, especially the casual fan that don't know him because they don't watch NXT. Showcase that he is a winner and not a fucking loser. Because all he's doing, you're right, Prince, is just losing every week. I don't care if he's in there with the top talent. He's losing. Build him up. I don't even gotta overbook or overanalyze this question. All you need to do with Almas is just build him. It's not rocket science. Come on, man. WWE is dropping the ball huge on a lot of these NXT stars. And I'll be the first to admit it's a lot to do with the structure of NXT, because they're big fish in a small pond, and then they come to this big fucking pond and they're like, oh, I thought this was going to work like it did in NXT. No. But at the same time, I absolutely will admit with you guys, Vince isn't doing anything to help a lot of these guys. He should help them and say, hey, this is not NXT, and things are really different here. So tweak this, tweak that. Maybe this will work. I don't think they're getting the proper guidance when they get here. And they think what worked in NXT is going to work here. It's not. In fact, if you're not careful, Vince will take the golden shovel and he'll start shoveling that shit right on top of you. Michael, ABC, a question for Q&A. What if the WWE brought back Ric Flair to manage a modern-day Four Horsemen? And if yes, who would they be? Mine would be The Miz, heel Seth Rollins, and The Bar. As always, much love and respect. Check ya. Thank you, Michael. That's a badass Four Horsemen. For me, yeah, that would be great for Ric Flair to kind of bring in the new-aged Four Horsemen. For me, it would be Dean Ambrose, Bobby Roode, Elias, and AJ Styles. A heel AJ Styles leading that faction with Ric Flair. And again, under him would be Dean Ambrose, Elias, Bobby Roode. That seems like a big badass Four Horsemen style group. Julian, hey BC, Q&A, what do you think about a match between AJ Lee versus Mickie James and a match between Kairi Hojo, that's Kairi Sane for you guys that follow NXT and don't know her before NXT, Kairi Sane and Gail Kim. I know Gail came up in the Braun Panties era, but many people don't know that she can actually go in that ring and she can actually thrive in today's wrestling. Those are the type of matches I want to see at Evolution. Much love and respect, and keep grinding on that movie. BC for WWE Creative 2019. Thank you, Julian. It means a lot, and I definitely will keep grinding. AJ Lee, Mickie James, absolutely. That's a kick-ass match. There's no question. But I honestly think that Lita and Mickie will bring some flavor as well. And Gail Kim versus Kairi Sane? Fuck yeah, man. I think Kairi Sane would take it. Maybe if Gail was still in her prime, it'd be much more competitive. Gail Kim only has a few matches left in her. I think she's even retired as of now because of injuries, or maybe she still comes back for a match or two, but she can definitely still go, but injuries are sidelining her, and I think she wanted to kind of give it up full time anyway. But don't be fooled, Gail Kim can still and will still have a couple more matches probably in the future. I would love to see Gail Kim come back for Evolution, but she left WWE on such bad terms. She eliminated herself from a battle royal and walked out on the company. So I don't see her coming back. But yeah, that would be a cool match. Just like Mickie James and AJ Lee. But at this point, will we even see AJ Lee at Evolution? Will CM Punk let her out of the house? Will CM Punk allow it? Fucking A, I tell you. What do you think? We're so far over an hour. We're barreling toward an hour and a half. Should we keep going with a few more questions or end it there? What do you guys think? Alright, fuck it. Let's just make this hour and a half, basically, right? Give or take a few minutes. Let's keep rocking. Few more questions. Scott, my question for Q&A is if you've heard the rumor that WWE and Impact had a meeting down in Connecticut. Have you heard anything about this? I have. Apparently, it is some truth to it. We don't know exactly who was there representing WWE. We just think, or we believe, the report is that Vince McMahon was not one of the key components. This leads me to believe that this has nothing to do with the sale of the company, or even the library, like the rest of the library that was supposed to be sold over to Vince, because Vince would have been there for that, and Impact Wrestling literally put out a statement saying it has nothing to do with the sale of the company or the library or anything of that nature. So there you go. That's from their own words. So what would this be? Why would they fly all the way up to Connecticut just to talk about Matt Hardy in the Hall of Fame and giving them some videos to use? Or no, there's something bigger here. It's got to be more than just something to use for the network. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about it in the next 48 hours, hopefully, because that's definitely intriguing. PB Silly Pride. Hey BC, for Q&A, you said several times you are not a fan necessarily of Becky Lynch. Yet in the past few months, she has obviously been impressing you. From her upset over Charlotte with the disarm her, from throwing Mandy Rose across the ring with authority, with the Bexplex, and now with her new mean streak and taking the strap from Charlotte, it seems like you might be coming around. My question is, what would it take for you to become a Becky Lynch fan, especially now with our favorite Sasha Banks in obscurity? It's not necessarily that I'm coming around. You guys know how I do this channel. I call it like I see it. You know, something may be really horrible one week with either a superstar or a storyline or a show. And then the next week, that superstar may be on top of the world or the storyline or the show. So last week, I'm fucking totally shitting on it. And the next week, I'm loving it. And that's because they did something fucking epic one week and they didn't do anything good the previous week. That's what that means. For me, Becky Lynch never captivated me. I'm an old school fan. You guys hear it all the time. 30 plus years, and I watch with a vivid focus. I watch wrestling different than most people, and I've been watching for 3 fucking decades. That for me, it's not just about, oh, I like this about this person, so I'm gonna like them. Or their hair is this color, I like them. I like her boots, I'm gonna like her. Hey, that guy's vest is cool, I'm gonna like him. He says a word I like. No. There's going to have to be a plethora of things that captivate me. So to answer your question, what is it going to take for me to be an actual fan of Becky Lynch? She just has to do one very hard thing to do that not a lot of people in 30 years have been able to do. She has to captivate me. And when I say captivate, I mean from the time her music plays, walks down the aisle, gets in that ring, she's got me captivated, and I can't wait to see her perform. Every fucking move is a thing of art. There's a sense of risk and just prestige in what she's doing. Something beyond anything that can be spoken about. Because you can't even find the words. That's what Daniel Bryan does for me. That's what Sasha Banks does for me. Or Sasha Banks used to do for me. Certain superstars just captivate me. It's unexplainable. I wish I could. It's everything rolled up to one, but even into one ball, but even more than that. It's the facial expressions, the mannerisms, the movements and the moves, the skill set, the athleticism, the risks. Everything. On top of that, just the it factor, but then even beyond all of that. It's unexplainable, guys. And it's just something, it's just a captivation that I don't know if she'll ever be able to do that. I'm loving what I'm seeing right now with Becky Lynch. This is the best we've ever seen from Becky Lynch. This is her best right now. She's hitting her strides, and I think this is epic, and it's so good to see for her. But it's not enough to make me a fan of Becky Lynch. I'm not going to go to a show and cheer her on and just go full through. That's just... I'm not going to be in awe when she's wrestling. It's just, I'll never be that for Becky. But for her fans that are, I think that's so cool. You know, if she captivates you, that's what matters. Heather, hey BC, you may have already answered this, but in regards to what you said on the Smackdown review, will you ever start an NXT review series? I will not review NXT, Heather, until, if they ever get really big enough and enough people want to see it, then I will. If I was like a full-time, YouTuber, podcaster, on-air entertainer, maybe I would. But I'm not. And there's only a certain amount of videos I can put out a week. The Raw review reaction, the Smackdown review reaction, amplified Q&A, and I always like to put out at least one bonus video, either on Monday or Friday. Some weeks I get to do 2 bonus videos, with maybe some news and some hot storylines that are going in, or maybe a Monday Night Raw preview. And that's the videos that I put out. I don't have the time or the energy, or nor do I want to put out an NXT review. I just don't think it's necessary either. Even if enough people watched it, what is there to review? It's a 1-hour show in a developmental third brand territory. You know what I mean? It's just stuck right down there in Florida. You got a mixture of the developmental guys with some guys that shouldn't even be there. It's only 1 hour. You got 3 or 4 main storylines. What the fuck am I reviewing? It's not the main show. It's not the main roster. It's the little leagues. It just is. I know that offends some people. NXT is better than everything else. You may be right. It's still the little leagues. Business-wise, it's the little leagues. I'm BC amplified. This is going to sound egotistical, but my time is precious. I don't have time to cover little leagues. You see how ballistic I go on fucking Raws and shit, man. You think I'm going to make another fucking video now? I have to do fucking... Then where does it end? Then I'm doing ROH. Then I'm doing New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then I'm doing fucking Schizophrenic Wrestling Association. The SWA. Then I'm doing BWF, Balls to the Wall Federation. I don't know. Big time wrestling up north. No, I can't do Heather. Thank you, but I wouldn't want to do NXT. It's just it's not the big leagues as much as it's adorable. People love it and think it's the big leagues. It's not. Justin, hey BC, I have 2 questions. What if WWE brought back Sable and have her serve as the manager for Brock Lesnar? I think that would be fun. I would love to see Sable back in WWE. And also, what were your favorite feuds, rivalries from the past, both men and women? First of all, I'll get to your Sable question. That would be dynamite if she was the manager of Brock Lesnar. Could you imagine if you fucked with Sable? Fuck with Sable! You're about to get Brock fucking Lesnar. You saw Daniel Bryan come to the ring and telling The Miz, talk about my wife, this is what you get. Imagine if you talked about Brock Lesnar's wife. Talk shit about Sable. That is the classic, oh, you want to fuck with me? Now you deal with my man. Who's your man? I'll fuck him up. Bam! Brock Lesnar's music hits. Here goes fucking Brock Lesnar. You're running for the fucking hills. As far as, different topic, your second question, what are some of my favorite feuds and rivalries from the past? Gotta go back to those 80s, man, 90s, you know what I mean? Like the Jake the Snake Roberts, Macho Man, Randy Savage feud. Because those are the moments that I remember. That's what I mean about building moments and creating awesome stories. Is, you know when you created something special when the memory in the moment lasts a lifetime. I still remember Macho Man, Randy Savage, getting bitten by Jake the Snake Roberts' snake. Macho Man was tied up in the ropes, and Jake took out his cobra, and he started biting Macho Man, and Macho Man was bleeding from the bite. And you think as a kid, and you think even today, years and years later, how the fuck did they pull that off? Obviously, he was, the poison and shit was not in him, the venom. But still, I mean, they let that motherfucker, they let this thing bite him. Back then, that was something insane to watch. And I'll never forget it. That was Macho Man and Jake Roberts. I remember Ultimate Warrior and Papa Shango's feud, one of my favorite. I mentioned this a few weeks ago. Ultimate Warrior talking to Mean Gene Okerlund on the platform, just an interview, and all of a sudden this black voodoo fucking crazy shit starts coming down the face, streaming down. It's almost like black blood from Ultimate Warrior's head. He didn't even have a hat on. This shit just started coming out of his fucking hair. That was badass, man. And Papa Shango was playing all those fucking voodoo mind games on him. You know, I remember the Big Boss Man, some of his feuds the most. Big Boss Man and Nails. Nails was, Big Boss Man's character was this corrections officer. And Nails was an inmate who felt he was done wrong by Big Boss Man. So Nails is coming back for revenge. And Nails would attack Big Boss Man in his prison outfit, that big orange outfit. And they would have a nightstick match. And you really thought this was an inmate taking on the CO, corrections officer, Big Boss Man. I remember that. Or the Mountie in the Big Boss Man. Because the Big Boss Man stood for law, order, and justice. And the Mountie stood for all those things in Canada. So who's the more authority? Is it the Mountie or is it our beloved Big Boss Man? That was an epic feud. Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan. And I still remember Macho Man and Hulk Hogan battling each other backstage in the medical room. Because Miss Elizabeth was being treated because she got knocked out. And Hulk Hogan was attending to her during Macho Man's match. Macho Man got pissed and jealous, ran backstage. Elizabeth is being seen by the doctors. And Macho Man attacks Hulk Hogan in the medical room. Those are the type of things I'm talking about, man. Sasha Banks and Charlotte, if you want to talk newer days. I love Sasha Banks and Charlotte's feud. I really did. I could watch them another 12 fucking times. I can keep going all day when you talk rivalries and feuds that I love, because it's all the ones that they stuck with me. And it's the moments that'll last a fucking eternity. Omar, Q&A question, BC. Do you see someday Shane McMahon getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, or does nepotism prevent that? The way I see it, he's more deserving than Kid Rock. Much love, BC. And I've stated before, when I'm in NYC, I'd be honored to shoot the wrestling shit with you. Starbucks double shots on me. Hey man, if only I had 5 minutes. I rarely ever have 5 minutes to fucking smell the roses. So, but thank you, Omar. And as far as the question, Shane McMahon, a million times more deserving than Kid Rock. You'll definitely see Shane McMahon in the Hall of Fame. No nepotism, no favoritism, none of that shit. The McMahons never have any problem putting themselves in the spotlight. Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon have been general managers. They've received all these awards. Vince McMahon has fucking been the champion, the heavyweight champion of WWE before. They have no problem sending Shane McMahon into the Hall of Fame. Stephanie McMahon will be in the Hall of Fame. They all will be eventually, and they all deserve to be, because they on air, they've contributed so much to this business. Ali, hey BC, great vid as always on SmackDown's review reaction. Thank you, Ali. For AMP Q&A, I know you were high on Goldust in the past. So am I. Do you think when he returns from injury, we'll get the Goldust push that we all wanted for ages, or is it just too late? Much love and keep kicking ass. Thank you, Ali. Right back to you. It's not too late for Goldust. Every time Goldust comes back from an injury or from a hiatus, he ends up looking like he's 20 years old again in that ring. Just book him like Cody Rhodes is being booked now. We all knew he had the potential in him. We all know there's a star in there. He just needs the time of day. He needs to be given the opportunity and the chance. I don't care if he's Goldust or if he's Dustin Reynolds. When he comes back to WWE, book him like a legit superstar. Goldust / Dustin Runnels is a superstar. Or Dustin Rhodes. Runnels is his real name for those of you guys that don't know. But you can call him his stage name too. His wrestling name, the Rhodes family. Dustin Rhodes. Whatever you want to bring him back as, just make him a fucking star, because he can be. He should be. And you're right, Ali, I'm really high on Goldust. It's a shame. I felt when he came back to WWE that first time, when he was gone for those years and he came back, he was on fire. He was wrestling like a 20-year-old. He was better than over 90% of the roster. And he just wasn't his fault, man. It's just WWE booking. They just saw him as just jobber Goldust. It's a shame. Nadine, I left my question for Q&A on Raw review video. Can you check it, please? Thank you, BC. Sorry, Nadine. Only on SmackDown's review and reaction show now is where I'm going to check the questions. So I can't go back over to Raw's. Sorry. Try again next week. There's nothing but love and respect to you. What do you think, man? Oh, fucking hour and a half. This is my longest video ever, guys. Might as well keep it rocking with a couple more questions. Two more I'll do. Two more. For Chase, for Q&A. Want to know your thoughts, BC, on WWE doing these shows in Saudi and making about $45 million off of the greatest Royal Rumble. These are rumors that I heard. There are some issues in that country, but WWE promotes it as a progressive country. Want to know your thoughts. Much respect. Thanks. They gotta promote it that way, for Chase, because, otherwise they just look like a shitty company. So they gotta make it look as good as possible. So I understand from a business point what they're doing. And I understand why they accepted the money. It's a lot of money. Now, I don't know about $45 million. That might be a little steep, but I know it's millions and millions of dollars that turned hands over to Vince McMahon for these shows. For those of you that don't know, guys, the reason Vince McMahon hyped up the greatest Royal Rumble ever, the reason he's hyping up Super Showdown in Australia, the reason he's hyping up the Crown Jewel, the reason he's doing these things and making them like WrestleManias is because he's being paid millions of dollars. It's like if your kid's turning 9 years old and you want to rent a circus, literally. rent a fucking portion of the circus to come to your backyard and perform a show for 3 or 4 hours. And and they bring over a little U-Haul truck, you know, one of those little mini haulers, and you got a fucking rented clown, you got a fucking couple acrobatic people, you got a magician, you got a bunch of props and shit from the U-Haul trailer, and they literally build this little stage in your backyard, and you throw them $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 to do it. You just literally paid for the circus to come to your house. That's what these countries are doing. They want to bring entertainment to their countries to make their countries seem very progressive. So what they're doing is they're reaching out to Vince and they're saying, hey, we will give you millions of dollars if you bring WWE to us. That's not usually how it works. For instance, if you see WWE at Madison Square Garden or in your small town in fucking Oklahoma or fucking North Dakota or wherever the fuck your arena is, WWE is paying for that arena space. They have to buy that space, rent it. And they bring their performers and they hope to make that money up in ticket sales. This is different because this is the country coming to Vince and saying, hey, we'll give you X amount of millions of dollars if you come and perform for us. So Vince is literally like, okay, fuck, I will get my best talent and we'll put on the best show we possibly can for millions and millions of dollars. They're called sold shows. So whenever you hear that term, guys, in pro wrestling, sold show, that literally means somebody just bought Vince McMahon's people for the night. That means these countries are literally calling Vince and saying, we want your wrestlers for the night. That's simple. We have millions of dollars and we want your whole company to come over here for a night. Obviously, they go for many nights. They make it a big week. Or at least half a week. I think it's a full week for most of the superstars. But for one big night, for the big event, they buy Vince McMahon's wrestlers. It's a sold show. So Vince doesn't have to worry about how many seats are actually coming in because he doesn't have to worry about ticket sales. He's already been paid. Now he has to just hold up his end of the bargain, which is just getting all of his best superstars that he can find and putting on the best show he possibly can. So I understand exactly why he's doing it, and you're right, Verchase. I don't know if it's $45 million, but he's getting paid millions of dollars. And that is why, guys, Crown Jewel and the Super Showdown, that's why they're so big for Vince McMahon. That's why they're being promoted like WrestleManias. Because Vince is making bank so much fucking money. That's why he doesn't have to listen to the fans anymore. He's getting this type of money. Other countries are saying, hey, we want your product. So Vince is saying, fuck, you want to boo my Roman? Go ahead. You want to boo my Charlotte? Go ahead. I'll take my wrestlers elsewhere and make fucking 10 times what I'm making here. That's what's happened. Atrocity. Hey, BC. This is a question for Q&A, and this is my first question I've ever asked you, so hopefully it makes your Q&A. Well, it did, Atrocity, so thank you for asking it. If intergender matches ever make a comeback to WWE, what matches would you like to see? I would like to see Candice LeRae versus Tommaso Ciampa and Sasha Banks versus Seth Rollins. Those would be two badass matches. My problem, Atrocity, is this with intergender matches. They're just not believable. It would be fun to see. One of my favorite superstars, you guys know this if you watch the channel religiously, is a young lady called Evelise. And she's in Lucha Underground. She's constantly taking on dudes. And as much as it's fun to see, in WWE with a lot of these women, it's just not believable to me. So, China, ladies like China would be an exception. If you saw like China taking on like fucking, gentleman Jack Gallagher, I could believe China's going to beat the shit out of him. And maybe the other superstars too. China was badass, but she's an exception to the rule. Most females, I'm not going to believe it. One of my favorite superstars is a lady, and that's Sasha Banks, or at least the old Sasha Banks, I keep saying, right? The boss character. But if Sasha's taking on Seth Rollins, just picture this. Sasha punches Seth Rollins in the face as hard as she can. What is that really doing for Seth? Is that really knocking Seth out? 1, 2, 3. But now picture this. Seth Rollins cocks back and punches Sasha Banks as hard as he can in the face. You know damn well most of that lady roster is dropping like a ton of bricks. They're probably knocked out. That's what I mean about not believable. But if it was a little more believable, I would love to see AJ Styles and Charlotte. They're so good. And they're at the top of their game right now. I think they're hitting their stride. They're in their primes. AJ Styles may be a little past it, but that would be an epic match. AJ Styles and Charlotte. It's not believable. If you're going to have an intergender match, it has to be something very believable. Touchy subject. It's a sticky situation, man, if you're actually going to pull it off and make it realistic. I gotta end it there. There's so many more questions. I apologize, guys. This is an hour and a half at least, maybe even over, maybe a little under, but nothing more I can do, man. I'm already losing my voice as it is. I got so much to do that I'm already going to be behind on, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it, man. I gave you the longest video I possibly could have right now. The longest video I've ever done since I've created this channel has been right now. So you guys are a part of history if you made it through the whole thing. Hopefully you guys did what I asked you to earlier in this video when I started this, and you jotted down either Shield or NWO. Who do you guys think would beat who? With the NWO in their prime, that's the rule, in their prime, would the NWO defeat the Shield in their prime? Or would the Shield defeat the NWO? Jot it down below. Just the word if you can. I know some of you guys are not going to listen. You're going to describe why you picked who. But if you can just leave the name, that'd be great. Man, I gotta shut up because I need a coffee! Double shot, mocha, latte! Much love and respect to all you amp motherfuckers. I'm gonna try to do a bonus question video tomorrow or sometime this weekend. There's a little subject I kind of want to talk about for 5 to 10 minutes at least. We'll see if I can actually get that going. If not, I'll see you guys early next week for Raw's review and reaction. Right now, the Amplified Man is telling all you guys to check you later.